Welcome back to our channel today. Today we are talking about 8 ways when someone doesn't value you anymore. Try this simple trick and watch what happens. 1. Feeling undervalued hurts, especially when someone no longer appreciates you like they used to. At first, it's subtle, maybe they don't respond with the same warmth, or their eyes no longer light up when they see you. You begin to question yourself, did you change? Or did they simply stop seeing what made you special? The truth is, when someone stops valuing you, it can feel like your presence has become invisible, your efforts unnoticed, your kindness taken for granted. It's a quiet kind of pain, one that creeps in during conversations, in silences that used to feel comforting but now feel cold. You try to do more, to give more, hoping they'll recognize your worth again, but the more you give, the less they seem to care. And that's the hardest part, realizing that love, respect, and appreciation can fade not because of what you lack, but because people change, their priorities shift, their hearts sometimes wander. But here's what you must remember, your value isn't dependent on their ability to see it. Just because someone forgets your worth doesn't mean you've lost it. So instead of chasing after the validation that once came freely, pull back, reclaim your energy, redirect your focus inward. Remind yourself of who you are, and what you bring to the table. Sometimes, the greatest shift happens not when you fight for someone's attention, but when you stop trying to be seen by those who choose to look away. Growth begins in silence, healing begins with distance, and peace arrives the moment you stop begging for the love you already deserve. 2. The counterintuitive solution. The counterintuitive solution to feeling undervalued isn't to give more, it's to step back. It sounds strange, even unnatural, especially when your instincts tell you to try harder, be more present, prove your worth. But sometimes, the most powerful move isn't in reaching out, it's in pulling away. When you constantly show up for someone who no longer values your presence, you make it easy for them to overlook you, your availability becomes expected, not appreciated. But the moment you step back, something shifts, your absence begins to echo louder than your presence ever did. Creating distance isn't about playing games or seeking revenge, it's about restoring balance to your energy, your emotions, and your self-worth. It's in that space of silence that people start to notice what they've been taking for granted, they begin to feel the weight of what used to be effortless. Suddenly, your time feels more precious, your presence more meaningful. This shift doesn't just reveal their true feelings, it reveals yours too. You start to see how much of yourself you were giving away, hoping for scraps of appreciation in return. Stepping back gives you perspective, it gives you power. It reminds you that your value doesn't diminish because someone failed to recognize it. Sometimes, space is the greatest teacher, it teaches others how to treat you. And it teaches you how to protect your own peace. And if they never notice you're gone, that's your answer too. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. So instead of pouring more into someone who doesn't value it, pour into yourself, step back, and watch how everything begins to change. 3. Ban chat con nuoi. Human nature is both fascinating and frustrating. We tend to overlook what's always within reach. When someone is constantly available, their time, attention, presence, we begin to treat it as a given, not out of malice, but out of habit. The comfort of consistency often blinds us to the value behind it. We assume they'll always be there, always respond, always care, and in doing so, we start to take them for granted. But the moment that presence begins to fade, when replies slow down, when energy is pulled back, something stirs within us. That familiar voice goes quiet, that reliable support disappears. And suddenly, the absence feels louder than the presence ever did. Distance has a way of revealing truth. It forces people to reflect, to feel, to notice. The space you create by stepping back doesn't just speak, it shouts. It tells them you're no longer willing to be overlooked, it shows them that your value is not tied to how much you give, but to who you are. And in that silence, people begin to wonder, did I lose something important? This isn't about manipulation, it's about understanding the psychology of connection. Humans often need contrast to appreciate what they have, darkness to value light, silence to appreciate sound, distance to realize closeness. When you remove your energy from those who've taken it for granted, you give him the rare gift of perspective. Some will wake up and return with newfound respect, others will drift further, and that's okay. Either way, distance reveals what presence often hides. So don't fear pulling away. Sometimes, the space you create is the only thing powerful enough to remind them of your worth. 4. It's not a game, it's about power. When you step back from someone who no longer values you, it's not about making them chase or teaching them a lesson, it's about reclaiming the energy you've been pouring into someone who no longer reflects it back. This isn't a strategy rooted in ego or manipulation, it's an act of self-respect. By removing yourself from situations that drain you, you begin to shift the dynamic, not in an effort to control others, but to regain control over your own emotional world. Stepping back allows clarity to emerge, it gives you the space to breathe. To reflect, to ask yourself what you truly deserve. So often, we become consumed with proving our worth to others, showing up, staying available, giving endlessly, all in hopes that they'll notice, appreciate, or reciprocate. But when that doesn't happen, you're left depleted and disappointed. That's where the power of withdrawal begins. It's a quiet statement that says, I won't chase validation where I'm no longer seen. In that space of stillness, something powerful happens, your mind refocuses, your heart starts healing, your energy realigns. You begin doing things for yourself again, taking care of your body, nurturing your mind, rebuilding your spirit. The need to be chosen fades, replaced by a deeper desire to choose yourself. And as you grow stronger, more centered, and more self-aware, others will feel that shift. They'll sense your confidence, your boundaries, your inner peace. So no, this isn't a game. This is transformation. This is where the real power begins, not in trying to be enough for someone else, but in finally realizing you've always been enough for yourself. 5. Focus on personal growth. The most powerful shift you can make is to stop seeking validation from others and start focusing on your own growth. When someone pulls away or stops valuing you, the natural instinct is to question your worth, to wonder what went wrong or what you need to fix. But the truth is, the answer rarely lies in chasing them, it lies in returning to yourself. This is your moment to realign, to invest deeply in your own happiness and self-improvement. Not as a way to prove your value to others, but as a way to remember it for yourself. Pour into the things that make you feel alive, nurture your passions. Explore your interests, rebuild the relationship you have with yourself. When you start showing up for you, consistently, intentionally, unapologetically, you begin to radiate a different kind of energy. An energy rooted in confidence, not comparison, in self-worth, not external approval. And that energy speaks louder than words, people feel it, even before you say a thing. Confidence and independence are magnetic, they signal that you are whole on your own, not because you don't need others, but because you're not defined by them. When you prioritize your growth, something amazing happens, the need to be accepted fades, and the desire to be authentic takes its place. And in that authenticity, you attract what aligns with your value. Relationships build on mutual respect, not convenience. So focus on your path, protect your peace, trust that becoming the best version of yourself will lead the right people toward you, and guide the wrong ones away. Growth isn't just the response to being undervalued, it's the ultimate way to rise above it. 6. Set clear boundaries. Setting clear boundaries is not about pushing people away, it's about protecting your peace. When someone crosses emotional lines, by disrespecting your time, dismissing your feelings, or taking advantage of your kindness, it's not enough to silently hope they'll change. You must show, through both words and actions, what you will and won't tolerate. This isn't about creating distance out of anger, it's about defining the space where self-respect lives. Boundaries communicate value, they say. I honor myself enough not to accept less than I deserve. And while not everyone will like it, the ones who truly respect you will rise to meet your standards, the rest will naturally fade away, and that's the point. Boundaries are filters, they protect your energy from those who drain it and open space for those who genuinely care. By standing firm in what you allow into your life, you send a powerful message. You are not desperate for approval, you are intentional about connection. In a world that often praises self-sacrifice, choosing to protect your emotional well-being is a radical act of self-love, and it's one of the strongest ways to earn lasting respect. 7. 2 outcomes, both beneficial. When you step back from someone who no longer values you, only 2 outcomes can follow, and both are beneficial. Either they realize your worth, feel the weight of your absence, and make an effort to reconnect, or they drift away completely. Creating space for someone who truly sees and appreciates you. It might sound painful at first, but in reality, it's a gift, a moment of clarity that reveals who belongs in your life and who is simply filling space. You're not losing, you're realigning. The ones who are meant for you will never require you to beg for respect or attention, they'll recognize your value without needing reminders. And those who fade away, let them. Their exit isn't a loss, it's a lesson. And more importantly, an opening for better, healthier connections. This is how you reclaim your emotional power, not by forcing someone to stay, but by having the courage to let them go. In doing so, you send a message to the universe and to yourself. You are ready for love that is mutual, energy that is balanced, and relationships built on truth. And trust me, what's meant for you will never require you to shrink to keep it. 8. You are in control. You are in control, even when it feels like everything is slipping through your fingers. When someone starts to pull away or treat you like an option, the impulse may be to chase them, to prove your worth, to remind them of what you bring to the table. But that's not where your power lies. True strength comes from restraint, from knowing when to stop giving energy to what no longer serves you. Instead of chasing, let them feel your absence, let the silence speak for you. People value what they fear losing, and they rarely realize the depth of your presence until it's gone. By stepping back, you shift the balance, not to manipulate, but to restore your self-respect. You are not powerless just because someone fails to see your light. Your value doesn't decrease based on someone else's inability to recognize it. In fact, when you stop overextending yourself, you begin to glow differently, more authentically, more unapologetically. That glow attracts those who see your worth, without needing to be reminded. So here's the twist: the moment you stop trying to control someone else's perception of you is the moment you reclaim your own. You no longer wait for their validation to feel worthy, you no longer beg for scraps of attention to feel seen. Instead, you move forward, grounded, focused, self-assured. And as you rise, two things happen: those who never truly valued you fall away, and those meant for your life begin to appear. You are in control, not of others, but of yourself. And that is more than enough. Because when you know your worth, you stop chasing love that runs and start attracting love that stays. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you find this video useful, please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on more valuable content. See you in the next video.